today. We're going to be learning quite a lot today in today's session. I'm super excited to be here and I'll be hosting today's session. You're going to be learning everything in relations to business communication, how to speak it effectively, what public speaking looks like. There's just going to be a whole load of information, and I'm super excited to have you. So, welcome to today's session, and let's jump right into it. If today is your first day of hearing about analytics business, or this is the first time that you're coming across our title, our logo, please drop a one in the chat box. Drop a one in the chat box, please. If today is your first time of hearing about analytics business, this is the first time that you're seeing or hearing about analytics or analytics business, please drop a one in the chat box. Okay, amazing, amazing. Thank you so much for the feedback. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm super, super excited. Oh God, I can't take the excitement off my face right now because we're going to be learning how to communicate. Communication is like one of the hardest issues that a lot of people face on the corporate world. And today you're going to be learning how to effectively communicate, how to effectively pass across information. This is something a lot of people struggle with: public speaking, how to even handle meetings, how to handle team meetings, how to stand in front of people, what to say. Okay. But today you're going to be getting a step-by-step approach on how to do each and every of this thing that I just mentioned. I'm super excited and I think we can jump right into it. We're expecting a lot more individuals to join today's session. And then we're also expecting an amazing facilitator who would be taking us end to end, some of the things that I've mentioned. So let me go ahead right now to share my screen and then we can get started. Please let me know when you can see my screen. So if you can see my screen, please let me know you can see my screen. Just type a one in the chat if you can see my screen. One. All right, please, let's keep them coming. Let's keep the energy very high because today's session is going to be very interactive. Okay, you might not be able to speak, but your facilitator would engage you, as much as possible. So please just ensure that you have your writing materials, you have a drink, coffee, juice, whatever rocks your boat. You can have it right beside you because this is a session where you're going to learn a lot. So make sure you have your writing materials right beside you so that you can gain as much information as possible. So without wasting much time, we're just going to jump right into it. So today, like I rightly mentioned, we'll be talking about the future of communication, the future of business communication. So it's basically how to master the virtual and hybrid communications for professionals. So I know a lot of us are individuals working in different spaces, whether it's in the FMCG space, finance space, whatever sector this that you're currently working in. This is going to be very, very important and useful for you on your job role. Okay. So because the most important thing as an individual or as a professional is how to effectively communicate with others. It is one thing for you to like say something, it's another thing entirely how other people interpret or get the information that you've spoken about. So how can you effectively communicate? How can you lead a room? How can you handle a team? How do you speak to people in a corporate setting? Okay, so this is some of the key things that we'll be learning in today's session. So you might be wondering, okay, what is analytics business? Okay, and why do we need to, why are we in this session or who are we? Okay, so analytics business is basically a leading e-learning platform. So when it comes to trainings, when it comes to improving individuals and improving staff, employees in different organizations, that's where we have, or that's what analytics business core principles and our core goals are founded on. Okay, so basically, analytics business is looking to train you, to empower you, to help you get better at your job role, help you get better at the things that you do at in your office, in the different spaces that you work in. So you get access to like top quality courses. So when we say top quality courses, you don't mean like some of the courses that the short, really short courses that you take and then within a day or two you can't remember. These quality courses means you're able to learn, you're able to take assessments at different points in time. You have access to each of this information, and then it cuts across various disciplines. So Tenalytics business has worked with different industry, the finance space, FMCG space. You also have like the automobile space, you have the aircraft space. So like I said, we've worked in different spaces, so that's some of the information that you'll be working with. So Tenalytics business majorly is found to help address different issue. We found a niche, or we found a problem within the corporate space when it comes to professionals. Okay, we always try to learn and develop, but then as a professional, we are quite busy. Today is a Friday. A lot of people are just coming back from the office. A lot of individuals are just, trying to get settled in from home. So, how do I combine work and my actual learning growth pathway? Okay, this is where Tech Analytics business helps you. Okay, so we look at the different aspects, we've looked at the issues that different organizations are facing, and then we've come up with a solution. Something that would cater to your needs as an individual and as a professional. So, how do you get to combine this activity as a professional? How do I get to learn and still be very effective at my job? That's where Analytics business comes in. We give you training. So, depending on the modalities that work for you, if you want it self paced, if you're the kind of person that you go to an LMS system, you're able to read, answer questions, you like games, we have that option for you. If you're an individual that works better with like a physical, environment to learn, we have the option for you. And if you're someone that you get benefit from virtual classes, we also have an option for you. So there are different caters, and Tenalytics business caters to all these different individuals, as we go along in the space. So yeah, that's enough about Tenalytics business. Let's move forward to the next slide. So we are moving over to what we call like meet the founders. So these are two capable individuals that have gone ahead to create something spectacular, something that changes the dynamics of how teaching, learning, is taking place. So you have Adeza Suleiman, who is the co-founder of Tenalytics business. So he's a data analytics expert. He's a data science consultant, here in the UK, the US. So he has worked across different sectors in the energy sector, in Sahara Group, as well as a data analytics consultant in FITC. So this individual has over a decade experience when it comes to data analytics and management consulting. So he has trained personally over 8,500 participants and then helped them transition into tech. So can you see the caliber of people that have helped bring and put to life Tech Analytics? So we also have Efemina Ipro. So Efemina Ipro is also a co-founder in Tech Analytics business. He has worked as a data science contractor in the UK and the US. So he has worked also in different spaces and has close to a decade years of experience cutting across different sectors. He has also
Yeah.
worked he has also worked as a business.
Yes, thank you,
Sorry,
Francis and before.
sorry about that.
Okay, so let's take the other groups. So another thing is if you
Sorry.
have any questions for
All right, sorry about that, everyone. So, as I was saying, in relation to the founders, we also have Efemina Ipero. He is a global business system analyst with Teleflex and also a business intelligence developer with DPD in Ireland. Okay, so these amazing people came together to find Tenalytics as well as Tenalytics business. Okay, moving over to the next slide. So for Tenalytics business, over the past 5 years, we've helped individuals transition from the classroom to landing their first job in tech. Okay, but that's on the 10 aspect. For 10 business itself, we've helped over 20 plus top organizations in different spaces, whether it's IT, whether it's automobile, FMCG, finance space, health tech space. We've helped each individuals train their staff, train their employees in different courses, whether it's data analytics, whether they're taking full stack data science, business analysis, financial analytics, HR analytics, data engineering, power platform engineering, Scrum Master, and cybersecurity. So these are the different spaces that we currently have. And then apart from this, there's also the soft skills that we are, bringing up as well. And that leads us to today's class, talking about business communication, talking about customer service, talking about business writing, emotional intelligence. These are some of the information that will be training you. Okay. So whether you're an employee, an individual, whichever one you are welcome to, today's training session. So this is where our participants have worked in. So as you can see, by global brands, some individuals have worked in Microsoft, Amazon, Nestle, NHS, Dufil, MTN, different organization across the world. Okay, so I'm super excited because our facilitators are quality facilitators that are in Canada, the UK, in Nigeria, Africa, the Middle East, different locations. Okay, so these are the individuals that train you on a day-to-day, or train our participants on a day-to-day basis, and give them the desired information that they need. So you'll be wondering, before we get to who am I, or who I am rather, how are we feeling about tonight's session? Okay, it feels awfully quiet. I know I'm the one that has been speaking for quite a while, but if you're excited about what we're going to be learning tonight, please drop a one in the chat box. Okay, please drop a one in the chat box so I can see and feel your excitement. Okay, it's awfully quiet. It's awfully quiet. Okay, a one. Just drop a one. Drop a one. Okay, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. All right, Demi Tokwe one. All right, all right, all right, all right. Loving the energy, loving the energy. Before I take it any step further, can we also drop in the chat box where we are joining from? Okay, because I myself am joining from Lagos, Nigeria, but we have individuals from different locations. So can you also drop in the chat box where you're joining us from? If you're in Accra, if you're on your bed in the US, wherever you're joining us from, please also drop that in the chat box. Lagos, Nigeria. Lagos, my people. Lagos. Kaduna. Okay, welcome to today's session. We have like diverse individuals here. Please keep it coming. Abuja, Abuja. Oh, okay, we have someone from Ghana. Oh, that's nice. All right, Abuja. All right, welcome. I can see that we have individuals from different locations. So thank you so much for taking our time on a Friday night to join today's session. Really excited for what Ilori. Oh, the UK. We have someone from the UK. All right, welcome to today's session. Welcome. We have someone from Port Harcourt. We have someone from Lagos, Ogun State, Abuja. All right. Thank you so much for joining, and also thank you for responding to my message. It's not here to be. It's not easy to be here on a Friday night, but we all made that time. So thank you so much for joining in. Really appreciate that. Okay, let's move over back to the slides. So who am I? All right, so my name is Treasure Akiopo, and I'm the Strategic Growth and Partnership Lead at 10 Analytics. So you might be wondering, okay, why do I have the privilege of speaking to you? So I have over half a decade year of experience handling corporate partnership and organizing large scale training programs across different regions. So in Africa, in Europe, North America, and the UK. So I've basically been able to design and develop different learning solutions for over 1,000 professionals from 20 plus organizations. So if you're working for a particular organization, IT, telecommunication, whatever organization you're coming from or sector you're coming from, we have a training program that suits your need. And that's something that I derive joy and pleasure in creating. So I've been known for driving alliances, strategic alliances, and also creating impactful program execution. So I myself have personally handled different global hackathons across the world. So whether it's in the UK, whether it's in the US, whether it's hackathons across Europe, in Amsterdam, Germany, so different locations. So I basically derive joy from helping train people and helping them improve on their day-to-day activities. How can you basically learn something and then make use of it in your current job? Okay, so that's the basic ideology behind what Tenalytics and Tenalytics business is founded upon. So if you want to connect with me, you can connect with me on LinkedIn at treasure at Kyopo, and then you have access. And in case of partnership or you want training with analytics, you can reach out to me on there and we can kick off. Okay, so that's enough about me. Before I go any further, I'm about to introduce your facilitator for today's session. Okay, drum roll, everyone. So, if you are excited, because we brought a very prominent person all the way from Poise, Nigeria, one of the leading brands when it comes to soft skills, to speak to us today. And then he will be taking you end to end when it comes to communication. If you think I speak really well, he speaks 10 times better than I do. He will be taking you on how to communicate effectively in a virtual meeting like this, how to lead, also how in a physical setting, how to speak to people, how to command a room. He is an amazing individual. I've not read his bio, but I know it's, off the top of my head. He's a fantastic person and also an amazing educator. So if you are excited, please drum roll, just, type a one in the chat box, and then I would go ahead to introduce your facilitator for tonight. Who is excited? Who is excited? I need to feel your excitement right now. Type in one in the chat box, and then we can take it up from there. I can see the confettis. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. If you are excited, oh, a one, a one, a one, a one. Amazing, 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 guys. All right, so let's go ahead to introduce our facilitator for today. He is no other than Shedrack Maisamari. He is a learning and development leader, a futures literacy expert, and a customer experience consultant. Can you see the caliber of individual we brought for today's session? I am super super excited to learn. Okay, to learn from him, to gain from his wealth of knowledge, and also be able to implement it. So this is the individual that will be taking you on today's session. So Shedrack Maisamari, he is an experienced learning and development professional. He is also the associate director at Poise Nigeria. He has numerous certifications from global institutions, and just like I am, he is very passionate when it comes to training. He has basically empowered over 12,000 professionals. And we're not just talking in Nigeria, across Africa, and globally. So he has empowered people with skills in customer experience. He has empowered people with skills in communication, emotional intelligence, as well as futures literacy. So if you want to learn how to speak well, how to command a room, how to talk well, he's your go-to person. Okay. So he's also a UNESCO aligned facilitator driving futuristic thinking in across Africa, and a volunteer mentor at the Children Correctional Center for Girls in Lagos. Can you see his bio? He is a super educator and also someone that is super interested when it comes to training and education. Shedrack, if you're on the call, this will be a good time for you to unmute and introduce yourself to the house.
Yes,
Hi,
yes.
Shedrack.
Hey, Treasure, can you hear me?
Oh my God. Yes, I can hear you. Welcome, Shedrack. How are you
Yeah,
doing today?
I'm okay. I'm fine. Thank you very much. How are you?
I am doing very well as well. So I'm going to leave the floor and hand the virtual mic over to you for you to continue.
Yes, so that we can get into virtual things, yeah?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, thank you. You are so passionate. I mean, you just transferred this positivity into me, and I just keep smiling. Though
Yeah.
I'm in Lagos, it's 20 past 8. I'm supposed to be out of my suit already, but because I'm going to be meeting a global audience, I have to stay the way I am, right? And thanks for that wonderful introduction. So I've been on the chart, right? And I've been looking at everybody. And I like to say, good evening. I'm not sure anyone is joining from Canada, but if you are, good afternoon. If anyone is in Asia, uh, good morning. I'm happy to be here, and I have been given a task to do. I'm going to share my slide in a bit. Treasure have done a pretty good job, so I'm not going to speak so hard on the introduction, but we have a very interesting topic, which is coming up my screen now. Treasure, let me know when you can see my screen.
I can see your screen.
You can see it. Okay, good. I'm gonna just continue from where you stopped. Yeah, so this is us. Can you see it?
Clear as day. I can see it.
Oh, can every other person see it? If you can see it, just give me a thumbs up. Yeah, don't be shy. I know you guys, you're going to turn on your camera very soon. But if you can see, just give me a thumbs up on the chat box, or uh, you could unmute your mic and say something nice, right? Ashiru, can you see it? I see Ashiru. Okay, great. Thank you. Uh, Charity, Chisom, Clement, David, Dixon, Etherweld, uh, and a couple of others. Thanks for joining the call. So straight into it. I'm going to be talking you guys through communication, and I like to start this way, right? We are in the 21st century, and communication is a big deal. If you have a wife, if you have a boo, if you have a babe, and you are in a relationship, I'm not going to ask you. For poor communication, I know that you've had problems. I don't stand to be corrected. Communication is very important. In business, a survey has revealed that over 20 billion is lost to poor communication annually. So, whether you're communicating in a hybrid setting or in a virtual setting, I think it's pretty important for you to know that it is an integral part of business. And because it is, you have to pay attention to it. But what is the future of business communication? Let's just do a deep dive. Now, Harvard Business Review tells us this: your ability to communicate virtually will soon matter more than your degree. I'm going to let that sink in. Your ability to communicate virtually will soon matter more than your degree. There's a lot of virtual communication going on today in business and in personal life. If you have an Instagram page, you have to be able to stand in front of a camera and communicate effectively, paying attention to your facial expression, paying attention to your tone, paying attention to your gesticulation. These are all components of a virtual communication. And I'm going to look at it quite deeply today, okay? Now, the objectives are quite clear. I need you to understand the landscape of communication by exploring how remote, hybrid, or AI-driven tools are reshaping the workplace. Okay? Secondly, I'd like you to also develop a strong presence and influence in virtual settings. Now, I like to say this: you just don't need a virtual presence that is strong. You also need a physical presence that is strong. A gentleman met a young lady over, an app, and after interactions, he decided to, well, let's have a physical meeting. Let's go, let's go out on a date. Okay. What happened next was when he saw this lady in the restaurant, he turned back and said, no, that's not the person he was talking to over the phone or virtually. Why? Because there's a mismatch. There's no alignment. So as much as you need to master digital body language, tone, and all sorts, you must master public body language as well. Thirdly, you have to apply strategic soft skills for clarity, connection, and collaboration. So you must understand empathy. You must understand listening. You're not listening because you want to have an opinion. You are listening because you want to truly understand. Now, 51% of persons have admitted that poor communication has increased their overall stress levels. Yes, okay. 35% have claimed that it has decreased their job satisfaction. 41% noted a decrease in productivity due to poor communication. And 31% have said that miscommunication rather, has lowered their professional confidence. What does this tell you? Why do stammerers get angry? Have you ever thought about it? I tell you why. Well, I won't tell you. You tell me on the chat box. Why do you think stammerers get angry? Just go to the chat box and just type. In your own opinion, why do stammerers get angry? You know, people who stammer, people who stutter, people who are not able to express themselves very well, why do they get angry? Easily. I'm going to read your chat. If you want to say something, feel free to say it. But please, I would want, if you're listening to me, just tell me, uh, why do stammerers get angry? Success, I see, you said you can see my slide. Thank you. That was a while ago. But Dixon, at the world, EM Consult, Julieta, Aminat, Solomon, if you could tell me on the chat box why stammerers get angry, just before I go a step further. Why do you think they get angry? Yes, so Charity said, inability to express their thoughts. Samuel said, they feel misunderstood. That's a pretty important point, okay? The gentleman using Android said, when people don't give them time to express themselves fully without interrupting or finishing their sentences. Oh, so it gets really annoying if you are trying to say something and people don't let you finish a sentence, but you want to finish it for them. It can piss you off, okay? Pressure said, inability to communicate effectively. I agree. Chisom said, curse, they have to repeat themselves over and over again. And if you're not listening, if you're not paying attention, they end up slapping you. Yeah, I mean, that has happened, right? But even if you're not a stammerer, if you're in a conversation with someone and the person is not patient enough to let you finish your conversation or finish your sentence, it gets you upset. So, in the light of that, I'll say therefore that between 2020 and 2022, virtual meetings surged from 48% to 77% all-time high. Okay? Yet 85% of employees admit experiencing virtual fatigue during these calls. This is a whole new class if I'm going to get into this. But this is to tell you that standing in front of a camera to shoot a video can be stressful. A lot of you who do it will know that it's very stressful. If you don't do it, there's a process to it to maintain your energy, to have a very sharp voice like Treasure did, to maintain your tone, to keep your balance, and to maintain your steeze over the camera. Now, if you go a step further, you'll see that that study showed that 64% of the 253 business leaders surveyed believe that effective communication has increased their team's productivity, and 55% of knowledge workers agreed. I mean, there's nothing that can replace an effective communication. But what is even effective communication? What is it? Do you know what it is? Okay. Now, let's find out what effective communication is. I want you to watch this video.
Ladies and gentlemen, electric cars, they're totally
All right, hi everyone. We're just going to give him a couple of minutes to join back in. Guess he's having a bit of technical difficulties, but not to worry. Today's session is still going to be an amazing one. We're still going to learn so much when it comes to communication and how to effectively communicate with individuals. In the meantime, I'll just go ahead to share my screen while he gets um, that sorted out. All right. So moving over to communication itself, we know that a lot of individuals have issues when it comes to communicating. People, most especially, do not or cannot stand in front of a crowd to speak to individuals or say some things effectively because either they are shy, your nerves kick in, and then you start to ramble. Ramble is one of the major issues, or rambling is one of the major issues. That's why when it comes to communication or when it comes to speaking in general, it's always good to have. If you have a plan when going into like any conversation, it's like you have the words lined up in your head and you can easily guide your way through it. Okay. So whenever you step in front of people, the next thing or the issue that you face is, oh, what am I supposed to say to them? What are people thinking at the on the other end in terms of the crowd? Okay. So these are some of the reasons why a lot of individuals can't communicate as effectively as possible. But some things that I have done, help me handle that or help me communicate effectively. First off is before you even go into that conversation or before you start speaking, you need to breathe. Breathing might not seem like a lot, but it saves a whole lot when it comes to communication. Take a deep breath. Okay, the world would not swallow you, the ground will not open up and swallow you, people are not laughing. I promise you, they are usually very engaged when it comes to the conversation. Okay, you just need to position yourself right. Another thing is wing it. Sometimes confidence is not necessarily just because you're saying the right things. It's how you say it. I might be saying a whole load of crap, but I sound confident. I can carry myself with that poise. I can carry myself with the charisma to continue the conversation, to take the flow of the conversation. Also, when it comes to speaking, you also need to be well read as an individual. You need to be able to hold your own forth when it comes to conversations with people. So, the movies you are watching is very good, but keep your mind open to different cadres of life, different institutions of life. When it comes to sports, when it comes to politics, when it comes to investment, be a very well read individual. It helps you in conversation, it helps you in communicating effectively. And that's like one of the important things that we're trying to learn in today's conversation and in today's world. Things that are evolving, okay? Like now we have AI. A lot of people have different aspects or different types of AI. There's ChatGPT, there's Code AI, there are different aspects to artificial intelligence. Okay, and in our last session, we learned about Lundy AI or Lindy AI rather. There is N8N. There are different tools, but how are you as an individual, basically open up yourself to these different skills. This is me even completely going off script, but you are taking the time to still listen out to me because I'm communicating with you and you are getting information. So these are some of the things you learn when it comes to communication. Okay, so we have individuals that have admitted to different things when it comes to why they have poor communication skills. Stress level is at the very topmost to that, okay? Because these individuals are totally stressed. You are panicking out of hand, okay? Because you do not have, or you sometimes you prepare so much, but because you are so nervous, you cannot communicate effectively or you cannot communicate clearly, and this becomes an issue. So these are some of the issues that people are facing. So 41% also noticed that there has been a strong decrease in productivity because of poor communication. Imagine you are a CEO of an organization and they ask you to come and present in a meeting with your staff, and you stand in front of the crowd and you're like, um, that does not count for anything, okay? Because you are being looked up to as a leader, and as a leader, you should be able to carry your team. So if you cannot communicate effectively as a leader or even as an employee, okay, you cannot step in when there's an issue, then that affects your productivity level end to end. So 35% have also claimed that it has decreased their job satisfaction. So because you cannot communicate effectively, when it comes to reports and having to explain your reports to, let's say you're having a general annual meeting and they ask you to explain your reports, you've created a very fine looking dashboard, but you cannot back up what you have there visually presented. So these are some of the things that affect, and this is why it's very good to know how to communicate effectively. So when it comes to Harvard Business Review, they say your ability to communicate virtually will soon matter more than your degree. Who agrees with this concept? If you agree with the concept, type a one in the chat box. If you agree with the concept, please type a one. Oh, okay. Shedrack is back. So Shedrack, are you there?
Yes, I'm here and I'm enjoying what you're doing.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Over to you.
thank you. The people from the village are passing, so I had to excuse them. Okay?
No.
If you're in Nigeria, you know what I mean. Okay, so I was gonna play a video for you, and I wanted you guys to have a internalize the video, quite frankly. Okay, because I don't know when next you're gonna see a video like that. So please let me know with a thumbs up if you can see my video. All right? Yeah, let me know with a thumbs up if you can see my video. Yeah, Prince, is that a thumbs up? I guess so. Okay, so I'm going to play it for you. Please watch carefully.
Here you go.
Ladies and gentlemen, electric cars. They're totally gay. It's true. I don't mean that they're homosexual gay, but I do mean your parents are the chaperone at the dance gay, right? You tuck it in and wear it real high gay. I don't want to disrespect anybody because I'm not about that, but I think we're understanding what we're trying to talk about here, right? I mean, honestly, the Nissan Spit, really? It screams this. Oh, here we go. The Hyundai Pomegranate, right? The Chevy Fingerprint. Now, look at this. The 1966 Ford GT350. You want to roll up in that one, Hoss? The 1965 Pontiac GTO, completely awesome. The 1970 Hemi Cuda took more virginities than Francis Albert Sinatra. What are we suggesting here? We're talking about taking the benefits of electric transportation, but combine them with the rock and rollness and the sexiness that the Dodge current muscle car models have. Nicholas?
We believe we can produce the technology to incorporate an electronic motor in your current models. But with the aggressive sound character, the exhilarating vibration character, the complete visceral experience that we've all grown to know and love in the Dodge Challenger and Charger lines.
Guys, we love our current electric models. That said, we also agree there's a market for what you're pitching. But if you're asking Dodge to invest in your pursuit of this concept, what do you have that we don't?
Nick Brennan.
I'm gonna let that video sink in because I've seen the video 1,000 times, and anytime I see it, my soul comes alive. And communication is creativity and it's adaptability. And for you to be creative and adaptable, you must have a level of self-awareness. I'm going to leave it at that. Now, the future of business communication refers to the evolving methods, tools, and behaviors professionals adopt to connect, collaborate, and lead effectively in virtual, hybrid, and digital-first environments. How did we get here is the question, okay? I shared a slide earlier to show you how we got here, but should you have missed it, I'd like to show you this, okay? It is important for you to understand that the future is here. And the future does not exist. If it ever exists, it exists in your mind, all right? The United Nations, for example, last year, September 2024, I think it was 20th, you know, about 180 nations of the world came together and said, we are going to sign a declaration on futures generation. And what that means is that whatever you do, whatever the leaders do, whatever policies you came up with, you need to be aware of the future or the unborn generation. This means that the rise of remote work and global teams, increased reliance on virtual tools, and the demand for agility, clarity, and etiquette in communication is going to be super important. If there's any time that's going to be important, it is now. And I tell you why. There are 6 generations in the world of work. 6, okay, right now. The Gen Zs are here. If you're a Gen Z, say hello. I'm a Gen Z, so hello. I'm Gen Z. Don't doubt me, but I am, okay? The Gen Zs, are you here? Okay? Millennials, are you here? Gen X, are you here? I see chats are coming up on the chat box. I'm not reading them. I don't want to be distracted, okay? But this is to tell you that, hey, because of this 6th generation, Generation Alpha, have started getting into the world of work. Beta are right behind. They are currently being given birth to. You need to be exceptionally agile, clear, and observe etiquette in your communication. As simple as that. Okay? Having said that, why are you here? If you feel that you have felt unheard in meetings, you are in a meeting, you are present, but you're not present. You are speaking, but you're not speaking. You are speaking, but you feel a less of yourself. You feel people cannot hear you. I mean, I'm speaking. I see that there are 46 people on the participants list. I see that chats are going on. I don't have anybody's camera on, but I have this conviction that you guys are listening to me. That's where the creativity comes, and that's where the adaptability comes. Going into the future, you need to have that level of conviction and belief in your own self. Okay? Have you felt left out or unseen in a Zoom meeting? Trust me, this call or webinar is really for you. And I'm going to share processes that will help you become visible. Okay? Have you lost deals, clients, or credibility due to poor delivery? This is for you. Let's change that, and we are starting now. Now, let's take a look at the evolution of communication. And I'm going to start with, you see, the Industrial Revolution. I'm sure a lot of you have seen this before. And if you have, you will notice that the first industrial revolution, where you had things around letters, newspapers, okay, in the 17th, 18th century, communication was pretty clear. If you know who Shakespeare was in the 15th, 16th century, great guy. Have you read Merchant of Venice? Superb book. Do you know Shylock? You wanted a pound of flesh, if you remember, right? If you come down to, say, 1958, Chinua Achebe, Things Fall Apart, I'm pretty sure all of you must have read the book. If you haven't read it, I'm recommending that you read it. But what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that in the first industrial revolution, letters and messengers were primarily the means of communication. In the second industrial revolution, 19th, 20th century, telegraphs and telephones emerged, enabling faster communication. If you were born within this era and, you know, uh, you had a blue blood, if you know what I mean, a silver spoon, right? You will know that you could pick a phone and you call uh, whoever you wanted to marry. There was a lot of ease in communication. The third industrial revolution came the mobile phones, yeah? The early 2000s, if you remember, when Obasanjo came into power. You had emails, you had mobile phones, you had revolutionized communication, okay? Increase in speed, increase in accessibility. The world was becoming global and very connected, okay? The fourth, I think it was the third, who knows to go? Let me be, I don't know, maybe Gen Zs are here, you will know to go. Millennials perhaps may know to go. Who knows to go? Can you type in, if you're a millennial or a Gen X, how did you communicate in the early 2000s, late 90s? How was your communication? Could you put it on the chat box? I'd love to read it, okay? Now, we are currently in the fifth industrial revolution, the fifth industrial revolution, okay? The emergence of what? AI, metaverse, you know, virtual reality, redefining businesses and communication. Holographic meetings is what we're having now. So you know that virtual communication is super important, okay? Now, having said this, you must understand that the core of virtual communication is going to stay with us. Virtual communication has come to stay. And because it has come to stay, it is key for you to be clear because people cannot see you. During COVID, we had guys who were making presentations and they forgot that, you know, they were not wearing any pants. You turn on their camera, they stand to go pick a cup of coffee, and boom, you know, their inner wear is just everywhere on the camera. So many incidences like that. All right. We had active listening was a problem because you had so many things going around. But right now, people are beginning to understand that listening is a skill. It is a skill that you must pay attention to. Okay? International Listening Association says you should listen at least 80% of the time. 80. So it means you only have to speak 20% of the time. All right? You must give concise presentations of your thoughts. So it means before presentation, you need to itemize your thought and present them confidently. Whether you think people are listening or not, you are the one who gets to convict people to listen to what you have to say, just like the video we saw. Strong command of digital tools is also pretty important in today's world of work. It is a core virtual communication component. Having said all of this, right, what virtual masters do differently? This is it. They project authority through the camera. They know how to interrupt politely, and they read virtual body language carefully. They use their tone like a tool. So your tone is a tool in today's world of work. But you see, I'm just reading these things to you, okay? But how do you actually get a grasp of it? It's not going to take 30 minutes or 1 hour of this webinar. Something I need you guys to understand. It takes practice. It takes planning. It takes preparation. It takes the 4 Ps. All right. Now, having said that, it is key, therefore, for you to understand that soft skills drive 90% of long-term success. Soft skills. Secondly, your technical skills get you in. Your communication and presence keep you in. In today's world of work, I'm sorry guys, but the people who are seen are those who are vocal and not just talk anyhow. People who have charisma, compelling charm. They are the ones who can be seen today. People with executive presence, people with exceptional skills, people who think, people who influence, people who impact, and people who generate revenue. Okay? Having said that, hybrid communication, therefore, is a required skill in today's world of work. And it is a blend of physical and digital interaction. You have to manage, you know, say all of these are key. All right. More so, you must have inclusive communication. You know, you're leading without micromanaging virtually, obviously. Okay. More so, you are facilitating across time zones. So we have an example of this class that is currently happening, and it is in a different time zone. And because it is in a different time zone, you need to relate to others in order to capture their attention. Okay, now let's take a look at this scenario very quickly before we wrap up. Your branch director, okay, surprises the team with lunch during a strategy session. Rather than keeping it professional, a few Gen Z staff treat it like a party, taking selfies, requesting takeaway packs, and delaying the meeting. One intern even posts my boss soft sha on TikTok and tags the company account. Now you are the director. How would you manage these as the director? Can anybody unmute their mic and explain how you will manage this for me? I have Stella Maris, I have Taiwo, I have Solomon, I have Yakini and Uche Chuku. Who would want to explain this to me very quickly? Yes, Charity, please go ahead.
I want to know what actually prompted him to post what he posted. Having gotten that understanding, I want to explain to him what ethics means. And equally, it depends on what the culture of the organization entails. All these I'll bring to bear to him.
That's very correct. I like the fact that you're going to do everything by the book. And I would have advised a similar approach. Okay. But you see, you need to understand that, yes, for the fact that everything is virtual, you must respect people. You must respect company guidelines. And that's a core essence of this very session we're having today. Okay, now, uh, some components that you must understand during virtual calls are all of this on your screen. You need to speak with energy and expression. Okay, when you're on a virtual call, it doesn't matter what happened, but you need to be energetic and you have to transfer that energy to your audience. Okay, use non-verbal cues. Your hands needs to be visible. They need to be visible. Okay, gestures such as eye contact, with the camera, very important. You need to make your audience feel that you can see them even when you can't. Okay, dress and behave as if you are in a physical boardroom. Okay, and avoid distractions. And if you are not able to avoid distractions, you need to train yourself, okay, on how to avoid distraction. I think if we're going to have an elaborate class, we're going to share some tips, tricks, and strategies on how you can avoid distraction. Now, still speaking, how do we ensure uh, the use of certain features when you are in a virtual call? How do you manage a hybrid meeting? There are basic features you should understand. Okay, and by the virtue of the fact that you're on this call, you should be able to use a co-host setting if you are the host. Okay, ensure equal participation from virtual attendees. Use tools like the shared whiteboards, the breakout rooms, the polls. These are all things that you should be conversant with. Okay, I think the polls are very important, especially when you have a large class and you have things around, you have divided opinions. You want to generate data so that you show, okay, on a particular subject. Okay, now, uh, how do you also use the technological toolkits? I mean, these are things that we're all familiar with. Okay, Zoom, Teams, uh, Google Meet, collaborative tools like Miro, Mura, Slack. Okay, if you are in America, I know most people in North America, they love to use Slack. If you work for an American company, a lot of the collaborative tools you use are Slack. If you're in Europe, you may tend to use a lot of Miro as well. Okay, etiquette tools, scheduling apps, noise filters, background blurs. You need to look the part during a presentation, during a virtual presentation. Don't look as if you don't have a clue of what you're doing. Look confident. You are responsible for the perception people have about you. Okay? You are responsible. No one is. Business needs confidence, not just competence. Skills like assertive communication, strategic silence, you don't speak all the time, okay? And digital etiquette are what modern leaders are made of. You need to know when you are honest. You need to know when you're firm. You need to know when to express your opinion. You need to know when to express your expectations, know when to criticize, know also when to state consequences. For the fact that it's a virtual meeting, it does not mean that you cannot do all of that, okay? Also, I have important body language tips for you to understand, okay? Posture for confidence is key. In virtual calls, facial expression, your dressing speaks to your confidence. Eye contact, looking at the camera speaks to your confidence, okay? Leaning in with interest, tilting your head to show that you are really interested. It's universal language for, oh, I'm interested in what you're saying. Just opening your eyes a little bit, okay, not staring, but opening them a bit to show that you are really interested in what the speaker is saying helps, and nothing encourages. Now, what this means is that in a virtual call, your cameras need to be on. You don't put them off. If for internet reasons, you're not able to turn on your camera, respectfully chat that up so that everyone is aware. But at the beginning of the meeting, put on your camera, ensure people know that yes, you are here and you are dressed for the meeting and you are present in the meeting. But for that reason, you won't be able to turn on your camera. Okay. So for punctuality, these are general etiquettes that you should know. Be punctual, avoid multitasking, turn your cameras on where appropriate, mute strategically, and address people by name. Now, look at this scenario too. A job candidate nails the in-person panel, but fails to connect with remote interviewers. Question is, how can hybrid interviewers bridge the digital divide? I'd love to hear a comment for this question. Anybody, you could put up your hands if you want to respond to this. So there are people physically they are confident, but virtually, they miss a couple of things. So what advice or what do you think this candidate can do to bridge the digital divide? Anybody? Okay, let me see if I can call out someone very quickly. Uche, are you on the call? Charity again. No, Charity, I'm not going to pick you this time. I think you gave a wonderful response the last time. I would want to hear from another person. I see Charles and I see Yusuf. Charles, are you there? Can you unmute your mic to speak? Okay, if not, Ngozi, can you unmute your mic to speak? Are you there? I guess not. Ashiru, can you unmute your mic to speak? Are you there? No. So I just will have to give it to Charity. Charity, please go ahead. You're muted, Charity, if you're speaking.
Okay, for me, if I'm preparing for an interview, for me to be able to kill that anxiety, virtual anxiety, I bring mirror. I speak to mirror. I record my voice. I see my gestures. I see my facial expressions. All these, the mirror corrects for me. If I'm not using mirror, I can bring in some friends, about three, a couple of them, and tell them to ask true questions to me while I answer. So with that, I will tell them to criticize, to critique what I have just said, and give me their own suggestions.
I love the mirror example you gave, okay? The best way to nail all of this is actually when you see yourself in the mirror. I encourage that a lot, okay? Because when you see what you look like, how you gesticulate, it gives you confidence. So, Charity, thank you very much for doing that. And training also helps. When you enroll for a training, it can really help you to achieve success on navigating the digital divide. Okay. Thank you for responding to that question, Charity, yet again. I think I'm going to have a gift for you this time. Now, as I conclude, yeah, Eddie, well, do you want to share something? Go ahead. You had gifts and you raised your hand, Abby. Let's hear you. Go on.
Okay, thank you. I'm also looking at if the person can practice with a video call with his colleague or somebody. So if he's aware, okay, this is almost like when I communicate with my friends using my phone, video call, you know, with that practice on always being on a video call, you can easily learn. Okay, this is the same thing when we have a virtual interview, those kind of things.
Absolutely, I totally agree. Video call is key. So if you have friends like accountability partners, you tell them, "Oh, I have this meeting and I want to get into it." Okay. So because I want to get into it, please can we practice? Set up a time, schedule it, get into it, and be very honest with yourself. If you have to make mistakes, that's okay. All right. So thank you, Eddie, for sharing. Now, as I wrap up, I would like to share this important information with you guys, right? Uh, First is we call it the SWOT, okay? And these are common pitfalls that you must be very aware of. You know, the first is talking over others. You feel it's a strength, it is not. Okay? I have used the SWOT to show you a lot of things people do during virtual interviews or virtual presentation that is uncouth. Okay? So talking over others is a no-no. Relying on chat alone is a no-no, is a weakness. Make sure your voice is heard. Okay? Assuming silence means agreement. You see, time to time, I would call the names of people because I need them to say something. Okay? It's okay for you to say, nah, I don't agree. Okay? Ignoring virtual body language. When I see you looking and nodding your head in the opposite direction, I could easily understand that you don't agree, and I will pick you out. So you must pay attention to the body language of participants if you are the presenter in this case. Okay? So your screen is your stage. Own it. In hybrid conversations, inclusion is not optional, it's leadership. So you must adapt to it. Very key and important. And as I conclude, the single biggest problem in communication is the illusion that it has taken place. A lot of people say that they have communicated, meanwhile, they have communicated in their mind. I tell you a story to end. You see, this lady and this guy were friends in the office, oh, and uh, eventually the gentleman, you know, met another lady, and he was interested in her, and he decided to date her. And before you know it, this lady that he was friends with, his colleagues at work, started, for lack of a better word, beefing him. And he was a bit confused because things were good between them. Not until when he started dating this other lady that he met and he liked her. His colleague made mention of something. She said, you should have known that I am dating you in my mind. In my mind, I am actually dating you. Why would you go ahead to start dating another person when we are in a relationship in my mind? Permit me to say that communication is a two-way street as I end. So make sure that you are clear, you're concise, and you are very deliberate about your communication. With this, I say thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Shedrack. That was a really, really insightful session. If you are, I can get the claps right now. You can, you know, send the confetti to the chat box. Your claps. If you want to type a message, give some accolades to the facilitator. He did such an amazing job. Okay, I learned so much about communication. Even I myself, got to get more information on how to present myself. Because right now I'm a presenter, a TV presenter slash video facilitator slash however you want to, position me as. So it really does matter when it comes to communication and how you portray yourself. Because this is a lasting impact on individuals, so you should always know that the way you communicate with each person is like a billboard. Okay, so if you don't sell yourself properly, you basically would not get that level of respect and confidence. So well done, thank you so much, Shedrack. I don't know if there are any questions before we call it a wrap. If you have any questions, now would be a good time to share. If you want to speak, you can use the raise hand icon, and I would, ask you to unmute. If you want to put your question in the chat box, please go ahead and do that. But wonderful, wonderful session. I learned so much from you. It's always a pleasure learning from you. So, if there are any questions, This is a good time to ask if it's interviews you're practicing for and you want to get that information, or if you have a presentation tomorrow or on Monday and your boss is on your case. Now is a good time to ask, how am I going to present to the company? Any questions?
It's one of
Okay.
two things. It's either I was very clear or someone is shy. Yeah,
You are in a communication class, you cannot
yeah.
be shy. What did you pick from the class? Okay. If you have any question, it could be a comment. Please drop it in the chat box. A question, a comment, feedback, something you actually want to share with others, maybe an experience. You can also drop it in the chat. It seems like we have very attentive students. Interesting. It's like we'd flip the script. We can have questions for you. So no one has any question. That's very, very interesting. Okay, now I'm going to go to my own questions since everybody is quiet. So when it comes to like the common pitfalls in, digital speaking, who can mention at least two? You can mention two, you can type it in the chat box, or you can raise your hand. Two pitfalls. This was a slide before this one, so it should be at the tip of your tongue. This is very interesting. Two pitfalls when it comes to digital communication. Please don't be shy. It's a learning phase. It's actually a learning phase. You can drop it in the comments. You can raise your hand to respond. Did we not learn anything? If we did, please raise your hand. Go ahead. Don't be shy at all.
So, so let me give you a clue, right? Just say there's gonna be a $50 reward for anyone who wants us. You'll say,
Okay, the question again. What are two common pitfalls to avoid when it comes to, digital communication?
All right.
$50.
Good evening.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, good
$50
evening.
and someone appeared.
I, t-
Nice. Please go on.
I told you.
Uh, so thank you so much. First of all, I will want to appreciate you for that wonderful presentation. Okay, for me, the first one is I think under strength because they actually used SWOT under strength. He said that speaking or talking over others, that is a common pitfall that we shouldn't engage in that. And also taking silent for an answer or for a yes. I mentioned that as well. I think it's part of the pitfall. And also, I think mentioning names. When he was explaining, mention names that you shouldn't take silence. You should try to be sure that the people you're communicating with, they're actually following. So you should call out some names. So I think, yeah, that is what I think the answer is.
Amazing. Let's get some clap in the house. That was really, really well done. Don't worry, your virtual $50 will land in your account pretty soon, just like all the claps and confettis. Well done. That was beautifully said. So I'm glad we had someone who could respond to that question. That's at least that should be a takeaway from the conversation so far. So when it comes to some of the pitfalls, talking over others, okay, always make sure that you are communicating clearly. You are not trying to speak over somebody else, because it's not proper, it's not the right way to communicate with individuals, and it doesn't really show class, it doesn't show poise. Okay, so it's good to just always keep that in mind. And then finally, some of the other comments he mentioned, like always make sure that you call out names, okay, when it comes to communicating, so you make sure that people are following along with you. Thank you so much, Solomon, for that and saving the entire class. Shedrack will be very, very proud. All right. Shedrack, please, you can stop sharing your screen, so we can go ahead with the most exciting part after the exciting part of this session. Okay, Eddie Wells, I see you have your hands raised. Is that a question?
Yes, I have a question. Sorry, it's coming late. I just have to remember. All
Yeah,
right.
go.
My question is, what about somebody that um always depend? Like for me, let me say, I'm this kind of person that depends on what I know. It gives me confidence. So it's always based on, okay, this information I'm about to communicate always comes from what I know. That's where I draw my strength from in communicating. But if I don't know what I'm going to say, or I'm not fully aware of the whole topic, it tends to be a challenge. So my question is, I heard you, Miss, I don't know your name, where you said you can actually just say something even if you are not really aware that. Uh, how do I mitigate? How do I close that gap? Being able to still communicate, even though I'm not well. Um, I don't really know what I'm going to say. So how do I cover that gap? How do I mitigate that? Yeah, that's my
All
question.
right. Yeah, thank you so much, Eddie, for that question. My name is Treasure. In case you missed that at the start of the question, very good question. Okay, so when it comes to conversations, how I usually handle situations in that regard, if you are in a room with individuals and you've been asked a question, probably something in politics, and you do not have a correct response, if you are not sure of what to say, it's better to decline to respond than actually say something that is wrong. Okay, it's not every question you jump at responding to. Okay, so silence sometimes is better than making a fool out of yourself. Imagine they're asking you who is the current president of the United States of America, and you are saying Joe Biden. Okay, that makes you sound extremely, it doesn't present you in the best light. So if you are not sure of the answer, you do not know what to say, the best way to go about it is, oh, I'm not so sure on what that is at the moment. I can quickly go and get more information, or I can read up on that. But actually now going ahead to answer, and then it doesn't paint you in the best light. Okay, so that would be like a better approach, to either decline to respond or say you're not sure. Okay, because you are an individual, or because you are a person, you are not expected to know everything in the world. Okay, but the only difference is if you are going into a meeting that you were pre-informed about, the best way to go about it is to read ahead, to research. Okay, but if you were caught unawares in the conversation, it's good to just politely decline than to make a fool of yourself. That would be the better approach. Does that answer your question, Eddie?
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Miss Treasure.
Yeah, thank God you remembered my name. Good to know. Yeah, thank you so much for that, Eddie. Okay, so I can see Yakini Aminu. So I'm just going to ask you to unmute, and that would be the last question for the night before we move over to our presentation. Yeah, please go on.
Good evening, Treasure.
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, I think I have a similar issue with the last presenter.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I normally draw my confidence from what I know because I've had an issue where I attended an interview. So I realized that when a question is being thrown at me, and it's a kind of question I have an idea of, I respond with confidence, and when I'm responding, my confidence keeps on increasing, and I'm also happy while responding. But by the time I get a question that I'm not that vast about, I don't know much about, I begin to lose my steez. My confidence reduces. So all those things. So my challenge is that when I'm confronted with a question I have no idea of, I always lose my confidence. So that I don't know how I can come over that.
Okay. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. I mean, and that's a very valid question. I think almost half of the entire individuals in this on this call would agree with that. So when it comes to situation, especially interviews, so for interviews, you go in there getting prepared as much as possible. But the question that is being thrown at you, you are not either aware of it, or you're not so sure how to respond. Okay. What I usually recommend when it comes to interviews, before you respond to a question, take some time to digest it. Okay. So if I'm being asked something that I'm not familiar with, or a concept that I do not know, entirely, or if I have like an iota of information, I would usually just hook on to my strengths. So if you're asking me something in, let's say, business, okay, how to handle like a relationship in business, that is my core strength. But if you're asking me something in politics, okay, and I'm not so sure about it, I always play back to my strengths. Okay, the conversation is in politics, you're asking me about government, I'll take you back to the business aspect of it. So what would be the business aspect of politics? That would be the best way to achieve or direct that answer. Okay, because your confidence level is how you are able to adapt. Okay, for the particular role that they are getting you for, they want you to be adaptable, to think on the spot. You need to be smart. Okay, so I basically would just go back to my own strengths. Okay, because for the interview that they're asking you, for, they really want you to think hard. I've gotten questions before where they ask you, okay, can you tell me something that is not on your resume? And I'm like, where am I supposed to start from? Because that's like an on the spot question. So you have to be creative. You talk about yourself, you talk about your personality, you talk about things you enjoy, you talk about things that you've worked on, okay, that gives you pleasure, that gives you joy. So these are the way to, adapt in that particular scenario. It's not the exact answer, but it's in line with what they are requesting from you. So it's always good to be adaptable and think on the spot. Do not jump at the question, but take time to digest the question before you actually respond. I hope that helps.
Yes, thank you, Mr.
All right. Thank you everyone for participating. So let's move over to the presentation for, the evening before we call it a day. So we've learned so much when it comes to communication. A lot of us are still trying to improve ourselves when it comes to communication. So what are the next step? What do you need to do, and how can you get better at it? So we're looking to have a stream of facilitators take you on a session end to end when it comes to communication. So if you wait to the end, you're going to find out more information about that and how you can get access to it. But for now, let's take a step back and talk about something very dear to my heart, which is Tenalytics business and what we look to offer you as an individual or as an organization. So at the start of the conversation, we talked about analytics business, but why analytics business? Who are we? And basically, how do you get to benefit from analytics business? So when it comes to analytics business, we're looking to train individuals, okay? Individuals like yourself, individuals that are getting into the corporate world, individuals trying to navigate, upskill, whatever aspect or whatever angle that you're coming from, we are here to help you and help you achieve your goal. Okay. So, how do we do that? A lot of individuals are struggling with their jobs. Okay. Some individuals, I don't know, falsified, for lack of a better word, their resumes and trying to think, oh, how can I improve myself, or how can I get better at what I'm doing in my current role? And then basically they are looking for training to support them while they are currently working. That's where Tenantics business comes in. You are a pro at your job, but you want to get better. You want to be more, you want to get more advanced in your current role. That's where Tenalytics come in. So Tenalytics business, we basically don't just offer you like a one event situation and that's it. You don't just get on a call and then you leave. Basically, we provide you with a community that supports you, that helps you with training, that helps you with the information you need to know. And then if you need to practice alongside, we also provide that community as well. So for this, we are not providing you with the traditional training. Oh, come and read. Oh, see this and that's it. It's practical. It's in the real sense of the word. Okay, practicality. We look at making you do things hands-on. So there is no theory about. There's no read and write. Come and show us what you will do in a scenario like this. If I'm being called for an interview, what am I supposed to do? Okay, you have role playing session to get that knowledge, get those activities going on. So we don't teach things in the traditional sense. We try to take it a step further and make it more practical. So that's one of the benefits of 10 analytics business. Another key thing is we are not taking you back to the stone age. There is no 2010 curriculum. You are not in the Babangida era. You are in the current and futuristic learning. So we try to make sure that our content are tailored and relevant to you as an individual, to you as an organization, and basically make you more productive. So there is no, if you're in the finance sector and you're coming to learn from us, everything will be tailored to you as a finance professional. If you are in the FMCG, doing manufacturing or QA, whatever content we have is going to be tailored to you as an individual, your role, and basically your organization in total. So these are some of the benefits that we offer. So we are also looking to give you like a very, as an organization, if you are here as a CEO, HR, data analyst, a team lead, we are looking for strong return on investment. That's not what you'd find in other organizations providing this. We look forward, we look at the future. Okay, so we look at training as an investment. So what is your return on investment? You want more productive staff, that is what we are looking to offer you. So if you are investing 100,000 naira for your staff to take a training, just know you are looking at a return of investment in four folds. Okay, so that's some of the mistakes that people, especially leaders, make. They feel like training is a waste of time. Okay, I train you and you leave my company, but they don't know that if you are more productive, if I know how to make use of AI, it cuts down on my activity time by like 2 hours, and I can do other things. It saves me time, it saves me money, it saves my business money. Okay. So why don't I upskill my staff in AI or things that help them advance? So these are some of the benefits of 10 analytics business. Like I mentioned, everything that you're being trained on would be applied in the real world sense of it, and it's nothing theoretical. There's no writing. We are not in a secondary school mode. Okay, you're not coming to pen down. You can pen down alongside, but it has to be more practical, and that's what we look to offer to you. And another issue that we've seen that people face is that they are not accountable to trainings. You go for training 2 days, 3 days. Okay, now they say I should go. I have gone, I have learned. What is the actual return on investment, or what have you done with the learning? There's nothing to write home about. So, but this is what we look to resolve in 10 analytics business. Okay, so like I've mentioned, some of the things that we are achieving is role specific training, project based, practical, hands on training. Okay, so for the HR aspect, you don't even need to be chasing your staff. You can track the activities on our platform. Okay, when they are being trained, how they are being assessed, all that is easily tracked on the platform. There is it doesn't affect daily operation. So whatever we're training you, or whenever we're training you, it's always custom to you, your organization, your time frame. We are basically working with whatever information you give us. So if you say, oh, your staff are available 9 to 2, they need to go back to work past 2, that's fine. 9 to 1, 9 to 10, 10 to 12, we work with your timing. Okay, we make sure that because they are learning, you don't need to stop operation. Or even you as an individual that wants to get a training, because you are learning, you don't need to stop working. You can work at your own you can learn at your own pace rather, and that's what we look to resolve. And also, like, our facilitators, they are top of the shelf individuals. Okay, quality facilitators that have gone with decades of experience, ex bankers, ex individuals, ex finance analysts, and all types of individuals providing such trainings to you. So you don't have to worry when it comes to training. We have strong quality individuals to take you in this session. So taking it a step further, some of the industries we've covered, okay, like I said, we are not just starting today. So we've worked with individuals and employees from the financial service, FMCG and retail, oil and gas, telecommunication, logistics and supply chain, tech startups, and HR and recruitment firms. So basic thing here is, tell us your industry, tell us your training need, and would always curate something just for you. So these are some of the industries that we've worked in. We've worked with individuals like Fair Money, Health Holding, Carry Assets Management, TGI, Nigerian Breweries, Mikano Motors. We also have MTN. We have PIC Group, a lot of organizations. So based off the individuals I'm mentioning, you can see the caliber of people we've worked with. Okay, now to the actual benefits of joining this session. So, if you've joined our session today, we're looking to have a training coming up on the 23rd to 27th. we're looking to provide you with free demo session. Okay, so we're basically going to be demoing this platform, which is our Analytics business platform. You can come here to download our course brochure. You can book a session. It basically goes end to end what 96 business is all about, and why you should register for our next training session. And another thing that you'll be looking to benefit is you would also get a 50% discount. You would also get a 50% discount based off like joining our session. So I'm just going to mute you. Okay. You also get a 50% discount. And then based off the training, you have like unlimited access to the training session. Okay, so now let's bring it to the main meat of this session. Why are you joining? We're having a special training, a well-detailed training when it comes to strategic leadership and executive communication. So all that you've heard is just a taster. If you join our actual training that's going to be coming up between June 23rd and 27th, 2025, you have access to different aspects. Okay, so you have access to expert facilitators, you have access to 3 months of our LMS. So you'd also have the self-paced training on there. You'd also have access to course materials for those that love to enjoy. If you are joining our physical training, you have access to breakfast and lunch. You get to network with other individuals because we've had really amazing people sign up. So individuals from the top of the shelf join the session from different sectors. So this is a good time for you to network. If you are looking to pivot, this is a good way for you to also network and reach out to those individuals. You get access to hands-on professionals, and then certification of participation. When you're getting our certificates, if you don't know this, we are certified by the American Training Institute. Okay, so we are accredited by the American Council of Training and Development. So if you see this seal, that means you can make use of the certification anywhere in the world. So this is something that is also very useful to you as an individual. And if you're a leader looking to also train or train more of your staff to make them more to be able to communicate effectively, this is something that they need to do as well. So the original price for the course is 300,000 naira, but because you joined this session today, we've been able to cut down the price to 250,000 naira for the first 20 people that sign up for the session. So we also be getting 5% off. So if you're a HR that wants to register your staff, your employees, you'll be getting 5% off. The discounted amount of, so the original price of 300,000 naira, you're getting an extra 5% discount, and then you'd also be getting 7.5% if you register 4 or more participants from the same organization. So if you want to learn more what you'd be learning in class on that day, all you need to do is to I'll be sharing the link, or my colleagues will be sharing the link for the open program in the chat box. So basically what it will take you is to this part. You get to read what you'll be learning end to end when you register with us, the different value proposition that we're looking to offer. So the course curriculum will go through strategic leadership, executive communication, emotional intelligence, leading a high performance team, and leading through conflict, crisis, and change. So when you have time, just go through this in details. If you want more information, you can also reach out to us. My colleagues will be dropping more information in the chat box, just to get more insights when it comes to leadership and how to communicate effectively. Okay, so these are some of the benefits you get to have just by registering with us. So if you want to make payments now, as of right now, the account details are also available here. So my colleague will also drop that in the chat box. And basically you can go ahead to make payments. Once your payment is confirmed, we get you registered for the class. So the class, like I said, will be taking place June 23rd to 27th, 2025. So basically in a week's time, we'll be having this training session. You don't want to miss it, because we don't know when next we'll be having a session on soft skill. So this will be a very good time for you to grab this opportunity and register. So once you've registered for the session, we can take you training on executive communication and strategic leadership. So if you also want to get more information, you can reach out to me directly. My email is treasure@analytics.org, or you can also reach out to business@analytics.org. If you want to also check out our platform, you can check it out at analyticsbusiness.ca. That being said, are there any further questions, or does anyone have any comments about the training that will be happening on 23rd to 27th? Please, you can go ahead to raise your hand or type in the chat box. Okay, can see a question. How do you start a conversation with an ED on your final interview? Okay, this is work. So, does anybody have any questions in regards to the training session on the 23rd and to 27th, 2025, that will be taking place in terms of strategic leadership and executive communication? If you have any questions, you can always relate to us by email. If you want to also send a direct message, we can also provide that information to you as well. If there are no further questions, thank you everyone for joining today's session. It was a really amazing session. We learned a lot. We had so much fun. Looking forward to seeing everyone, on this call. I'm seeing over 20 individuals that stayed to the end of the conversation. So looking to see you in the session that will be happening 23rd to 27th. So you can join physically. That will be 250K, or you can also join virtually. If you know you would not be able to come to the location physically, you can join virtually, and then we would be able to take you end-to-end strategic leadership and executive communication. I'm super excited. And that will be it for today. If you have any questions, you can always relate to us and we'll answer as soon as possible. Thank you everyone so much for joining today's session. I had so much fun talking to everyone. But we always have to call it a wrap. All good things must come to an end. So today's session has come to an end. If you have any question, please do let us know. But that being said, thank you so much for joining everyone, and have a lovely rest of your day. For instrumental payments, we don't accept instrumental payments. Payments should be made in full. So you can just save your money in a colo before 23rd, and then you can make payments for that session. But if you want more information, just let me know. Let me type my email once more in the chat box, and then I will get back to you as soon as possible. All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of your day. Bye for now.